welcome to another SHIP live on LinkedIn and YouTube. For those of you who tried streaming this amazing show live on LinkedIn, we are sorry LinkedIn shut off our stream. So we had to improvise and we were singing. There may have been some slight cursing involved while we were trying to set up
A little bit. Just a little bit.
this
It's all
stream
good.
very quickly. But I'm your captain for today. I'm Kristin Spencer. And today we are joined by the lovely SHIPites, Anne, Irene Ryan, and Kirsten Rourke. Thank you, ladies, for shipping out today with me. How is everyone doing?
Good. It's always, hey, StreamYard and LinkedIn do not like each other. They just don't.
I was gonna say, just because do we still have, and this is just logistics, do we still have the old event that didn't work? Can we pop in a new link to watch in the comments of the old event? You're already on it,
right
Kristin.
now.
You already are. Okay.
Awesome.
I was desperately trying to search LinkedIn to try to find the link to put in the comments.
I was going to say, because I know
Just in
I
case.
have a friend sitting on the old event waiting for us to start, so he'll come over here.
We'll have to do some detective work later, because I created this event maybe like a week ago, and it seemed like everything was fine. Like we had a pre-live, everything was rolling, but that's okay.
Yep.
All right. We're live. We're live now.
Streaming. It's awesome.
Life happens.
It does. You know what else happens? Life happens, but also the SHIP OwnerSHIP Summit is going to happen too.
It does happen. and when is that, Anne?
It is on Saturday, October 9th from 12 p.m. ET to 4:30 p.m. ET. And today we're actually going to kind of give you a preview of some of the things we're going to cover at the summit.
Okay, so because I named this the same thing twice, it is not showing in LinkedIn right now.
Oh, should we just keep going and then post the recording later? Or should
Yes.
we over?
Yes.
I think
Yes,
that's
we're going to do that. We're going to keep going.
I
and
will
post
just
recording.
keep going.
Hi,
All right.
replay crew. Everybody who's watching this on the replay crew, throw in a comment and we will come back and say thank you for being here.
Oh, you know what though? I can throw in the YouTube link and people can still watch
let's do
it.
that.
Woo!
Yeah, throw on the
Okay.
YouTube link.
Okay. I love it.
It's just we're solving problems live.
Hey,
That's what we're doing.
Hey, I'm just thrilled to death that I spent 2 weeks fixing the back end of my website, and it's fine. I don't want to curse the gremlins. Tech gremlins don't listen, but it's actually done.
Yes.
Finally done.
Congratulations.
Oh, I had
Great.
forgotten what it's like to build websites. It's been a long time.
There's a lot of work that goes into a website, a lot of work that goes into a brand, a lot of work that goes into an offer, like figuring out the products and services you want to do. Like sometimes I feel like when I look at something from another vendor, I think, well, this is cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, but then I have to remember how long it took that person to put this offer together and think about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
and they showed great ownership.
They showed ownership, and they showed,
and
in some places, mentorship and
leadership.
Leadership. There we go.
There we go. Okay. I've got the link. Sorry.
So we are doing this on a recording.
Excellent.
And we are live streaming to YouTube, and it's all the things. There we go. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Official head bob.
Yeah. Can people, if people comment on YouTube, will we see the comments in
yes.
here?
Yeah,
We will.
so they can still play along.
Okay.
We will.
I'm going to be like, please comment on YouTube
Yes.
to play along with us as we try to stump each other.
Oh, I think we probably will stump each other. I suspect.
I think so.
I suspect.
Throwing that in there again.
So
Am I bluffing or am I double bluffing?
well, given your prolific,
I know, Anne can gamble and win and beat everybody. So
like, I wouldn't want to.
Poker's not gambling. Poker is strategy.
But strategy with money is gambling.
Strategy that involves gambling. Yes. Okay. But so
Okay,
the ownership summit.
Yes. Yeah.
Kristin and I are talking about voice like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Being yourself authentically. And Anne, you are talking about
careers. Stephanie, Britt, and I are doing the workshop on careers. Yeah.
And I am excited because Christine Bees is going to be doing money, and I've learned a lot from her since we formed our partnership. I've learned a lot from her. I'm very excited about that.
She did a really great YouTube on money that I'm going to find right now on the SHIP channel, and I'm going to post it in the chat.
Yeah, she's
I'm going
just
to
like
post it somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
so full of knowledge, but also like so polite and Canadian, right? But also she'll just be like, "No, that's wrong." And I love it when she has those moments of like,
no, yeah,
no, like let's not do that.
So
polite and
I'm trying to find
Canadian,
it.
a little redundant, but yeah, okay. So what are you excited for, Kristin?
I'm really excited for Chloe Nwangu's presentation on time. So she's like the brand scientist, so she does all these things based on science, but she was like, you know, I'm not a physicist, so maybe I won't get into the science of time itself, but I'm going to get into the science of like how we use time, how we allocate that as a resource. And I can't wait to hear her presentation because she always blows my mind.
She does. Chloe is one of those terrifyingly smart people who you just have a casual conversation and then partway through you're kind of like, whoa, like the depth to that girl. Oh my God. Just, I love it.
Yeah, and for anyone who is curious about what our live is going to be next week, Chloe is actually interviewing Femily, who is she's the DE&I person, like consultant of Silicon Valley. And I can't wait for that. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Like, I know my mind will be blown a ton in that conversation.
All right.
Are we ready to start? Are we going to play?
Let's play.
We can I? Well, I have to mention we have 5 workshops at the summit, right? So I have to talk about failures because
it's kind of a failure that we didn't talk about failures.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake.
Well, I'm very excited to hear because Dr. Farzana and Malia Lim did a really great LinkedIn Live last week on mentorship that I watched half of it live and then I watched the whole thing again. And it was just amazing. And I put it in my email list and shared it out because I liked it so much. So I'm really looking forward to their session on failures because I've always, it's only recently that I've really embraced failing as a good thing, as a learning opportunity. And like, I'm not failing. I'm just experimenting. I'm like having that mindset where it's like, it's totally okay to fail.
Well,
it's changed because you get information. Yeah.
And I'm not so afraid.
Yeah, failure is simply success testing. Right. That's it. It's like okay, that one didn't do it. Let's try the next one. Eventually, you get there.
Yeah, and I've also really seen it in poker because a lot of times you bet to gain information, and sometimes you get caught bluffing, and that's okay if you get caught. Do you know what I mean? Like if you don't get caught bluffing, you're not bluffing enough.
I'm gonna need to learn what your tell is before we ever play.
She doesn't have one. No.
Yeah, I was going to say. As she suddenly goes, that's literally poker face. That is literally the definition of poker face right there. Okay, so we are going to stump each other. I want to know Kristin's.
Okay, so I'm going to do my 2 truths and a lie, only you're not going to know which thing is true and which thing's a lie. And the whole purpose of this is Anne and Kirsten are going to debate amongst themselves what the lie is. And then we want to hear from you, the audience, whether you're watching later or you're watching right now. Just tell us what your guess is in the chat as we're going, because 100%. You can always play this later.
Yes.
So the first one is, when you show up as your authentic self, you don't have to worry about how others perceive you. So Kirsten and I are talking about voice, and I'm specifically covering like brand reputation and professional reputation. So these are the little to get you thinking about what our presentation is going to be about. Okay, so that's number 1.
That's number 1.
Number 2. Getting more education in your expertise will help you amplify your voice to promote yourself and help others. Okay. So this is education.
Can I ask, what do you mean by education?
Like any kind of education, like going back to school for another degree, getting a certification, joining a coaching program, any kind of education that helps you build up your information base.
Got it.
All right. And number 3 is, knowing your business mission will equip you to deal with any situation where you have to make a decision or give someone instruction.
Ooh. All right. I'm going to start with this one because it's the any situation that I am hung up on. It's like, knowing your business mission is good, but equip you to deal with any situation. I don't know about that. I'm thinking of situations where my business mission wouldn't necessarily help me in solving certain things. So, what do you think, Anne?
I actually think number one is the lie.
Number one.
I actually think it's number one.
When you show up as your authentic,
you don't have to worry.
I don't have to worry about how others perceive you.
I mean, I think you should always be your authentic self, but I think there's a best version of your authentic self. But maybe I'm being too picky about that.
Number 2 is the one that I was number 2. So the getting more education, okay, that's awesome. But getting more education doesn't necessarily amplify your voice.
No. I can
promote yourself.
It could help. I mean, it
can help, but that's you marketing yourself.
This is so
getting more education is, yeah. So, all right, I'm going
to pick one.
This is one of the best ideas you've ever had.
Yeah. So I'm going to guess that I think it's number 2.
I'd say, yeah, I agree. Let's go for 2 because we both each picked 1 and 3, which means it's got to be 2.
Okay. So I'm going to go through the truths first.
Okay.
Number 1, when you show up as your authentic self, you don't have to worry about how others perceive you. So a lot of people think, if I show up as myself, I'll be rejected. If you are talking about showing up as your authentic self, whether it's in the professional or the personal realm, and you show up and you get rejected, guess what? That is amazing information to have because that's not my person. So when you show up as your authentic self, you should not have to worry about how others perceive you, especially if you have amazing boundaries.
Got it.
All right.
Nice.
We'll just go in order because I'm going to ruin it right now anyway. So number 2 is the lie. You both got it.
Hey!
So,
we did it!
This is actually a huge misconception with women. They think that if they keep getting more and more education, that the men who make decisions about their career will notice and promote them. And that's actually not true. Instead of going and getting more education, which men don't do often, right? If we're looking at their patterns of professional behavior, the best course of action to get noticed and promoted is to advocate for yourself, to find a sponsor, and to find a mentor. And I'm not giving vague advice because you can go back and watch our live from last week if you want to know more about either one of those.
There we go.
And then number 3, knowing your business mission will equip you to deal with any situation. And I'm glad to talk about this, especially after Kirsten was like, poke, poke, poke.
Poke, poke, poke.
Because in any situation, if you know your business mission, you can ask this question and know the answer. If I do this thing, will it actually help my biggest business mission? And if the answer is no, then you don't do it.
Okay. Solid. I will take that. I will 100% take that.
Congratulations, SHIPmates, for detecting my lie. I just really wanted to talk about that because I know there are so many women watching her like, if I just get that master's degree, if I just get that PhD, then I'll finally get noticed at work. And the truth is, the only way you're going to get noticed is by advocating for yourself and finding those support people, like Dr. Farzana calls them, your constellation, right, of support. So stop spending money on PhDs, friends, unless you want to, and then do it. But don't do it because you're trying to get someone to notice you.
Do it because it feeds your soul. Don't do it because of some asshat in your business.
Exactly.
I encounter this in my work with coaching clients career-wise, where a lot of times people feel like they don't have enough experience to build out a resume for the thing they want to do. And I'm like, you do, you just don't know it yet. Like you are enough now. And I have this whole, I wrote a resume for Ken from the Barbie.
You're Knuff.
Resume. Yeah. You are Knuff. And I want to build a whole keynote around it where it's like, Ken is a guy who has no money, no car, no house, no job, and he's going through some stuff, right? But I was able to build out a complete resume for him.
Yes.
And if I can do that for Ken, I can do it for you, and you can do it for yourself.
I look forward to watching that keynote and helping you choose the outfit.
I'm thinking fox fur, mink, and double sunglasses.
Like something good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something awesome.
Yeah. Although I think the sunglasses might be difficult for me to walk around, but we'll find
Double
out.
sunglasses could be tricky.
Kristen, these were great. 2 truths and a lie. Loved it.
All right.
All right. So now we're going to Anne. So Kirsten and I have to figure this out. So Anne, take it away.
Okay. So so these are all career related like statistics. Okay. And I will share a little bit more background as we go through it. So number 1 is 85% of your job success is determined by your soft skills. And so number 2, that's number 1. Number 2 is 20 of the 43 stress events on the life change index scale are work related. So just that is actually a scale that basically says that a bunch of life events can cause stress, and they can be like positive events or like events that are fun, like vacation, or they can be events like, getting fired from work. Do you know what I mean? That could be sort of negative. And what they've discovered is that they put like a number value to each of these life events, and they've done some research and said that if within a 3 to 6 month period, you've had enough events to add up to like 150 to 200 on the point scale, you have a 37% chance of getting sick. And if you have over 300 points on this scale in that span of time, 80% of the people in their study got sick. So it's very interesting if you want to check it out later.
If this isn't a lie, I believe it.
That is a true scale. That is a true scale.
Do remember that she plays poker, everybody.
And also, like, if you look at her LinkedIn, like she's like the queen of trivia too. So I'm nervous right now.
Trivia.
Okay.
I love trivia. Cool. So number 3 is 70% of all jobs are not published publicly, and 80% of jobs are filled through personal and professional contacts. So these are the 3.
See, you guys made these hard. Okay.
I know.
All right. Go back and show number 1 again.
Okay, number 1.
All right. 85% of your job success is determined by your soft skills. 85%.
Oh, man, I think all of these are right. This is so annoying.
All right. All right. I'm going to poke holes at all of them. So let's see. 85%. That might be high. 20 of the 43 stress events are work related. I think 20 might be low.
Low. That's how I feel
20
too.
might be low, I'm thinking. And then number 3, 70% of all jobs are not published publicly. The 80% of jobs filled through personal and professional contacts, I think that sounds solid. Well,
I think it's too high.
It sounds high, but also thinking of like the current CEO of Unity Software. Dude, people who should not be in jobs. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm thinking.
Tell us how you really feel, Kirsten.
Oh my God, I have thoughts about that, man. I have thoughts about that. Yeah. Oof. Okay, so
what do we think?
I'm thinking the 20. I'm thinking number 2.
Okay, you're going number 2. I'm going to go number 3 because I want to be contrarian to whatever you say in this moment. I'm feeling
all right. That sounds
spicy.
Good.
So,
all right.
One of you is correct.
Okay.
One of you is correct. Let's go. Can we go through them? We'll go through.
Yeah, go through them again. Okay. Let's see.
So this is true. 85% of your job success is determined by your soft skills, and those are skills like communication, resilience, problem solving, negotiation. Do you know, like anything you could think of? And 50% is hard skills, which is like your technical skills.
That's such a small percentage. But I just feel like if you are discouraged at all, let this number encourage you, because for most of us, we're doing this 85% of stuff like on auto all the time. Like it's just happening.
A lot of your work, even if it's very technical, is people. Right? You have to know how to work with people.
You got to.
And that's why I say to college students all the time, like your retail, your customer support, do you know what I mean? Your restaurant experience, your food service experience, those are all great for your resume because it's all soft skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to number 2. So this is the lie. This is the lie.
Kirsten got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's not that 20
made me lose.
Okay. So what is the truth?
The truth that there's not 20, there's actually less related to work.
It's fewer. Oh my gosh. I thought it was more.
I thought it would be higher.
So here's the thing, which is different, and I can pop this in the chat too if you look at the scale. Like some of them are very clearly work related, where it's like a change in job, a change with your boss. Do you know what I mean? Like you switched industry. Like some of them are definitely work related, and others are not. But I think because you're a whole being, anything that's happening in your life could kind of affect work. So in terms of like strictly work related, it's actually lower. It's anywhere between 7 to 10. I couldn't actually figure it out because there's a couple that look kind of ambiguous because I was trying to come up with an exact number. I couldn't. It's actually lower. But
so I got it right for the wrong reason.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm embracing failure today. I'm embracing failure.
That's right. And mistakes.
Yep. And this is actually a truth. Yeah. 70% of all jobs are not published publicly, and 80% are filled through personal and professional contacts. So if you're spending most of your job search applying to jobs online, you are not spending your time wisely. 80% should be networking. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And that's what I wanted to get across where, I think we lost Kristin, but she'll come back. Probably an internet thing.
But the joy of live streaming. It's just so good.
Coming back. Yeah. Just come back. This is what I wanted to say. Kristin, you're back. Is so important because I see this mistake being made all the time by people looking for a job. They're just applying online and wondering why it's not working for them.
Yep.
Networking is the way to go. Well, I think it's good to spend some time applying online. About 10% of people find jobs that way. So spend 10% of your job search time applying online. Do you know what I mean?
What counts as networking is cold outreach or warm outreach, like messaging people and saying, I'm looking for a job in industry Y doing position X. Do you know anyone who's looking for that? And people are so down to think about it. They're so excited to connect you when they can. So it's not all going to networking events. And I feel like that's the first thing that pops into people's heads. But that's not your only option for actual networking.
That's true. And also there's a great book that I'll just recommend called The 2-Hour Job Search by Steve Dalton that I recommend checking out because it'll give you a formula of how to network your way to your next job. Nice. So check it out if you're looking. Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
All right. Kirsten, I'm so excited for yours.
Yes. All right. So Kirsten and I are doing the voice workshop together. So this is also about voice.
So when teaching or presenting on something that is cloud-based, you need to practice the week before to make sure everything is the same.
That means it's stored in the cloud?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel like that's a lie. Okay. I'm just saying already. That's the one I think.
You don't need to be an extrovert to be a great speaker and kick ass in a keynote.
Okay. Kirsten, I think you made these too easy compared to Ann and I. You were trying to
I think I did. Using a slide deck is not required. It can help, but prepping without it can keep you out of trouble.
That's got to be true. Yeah, I agree with Kirsten. I think number one is the lie. But let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. And tell me why you think number one is a lie.
I think you need to practice a week before, like more than a week before. But I also think it's dependent upon where you are because cloud services work differently in different areas. So if I don't have like a hardwired thing, I would want to make sure that I'm not just practicing a week before, but I'm practicing like in the location as soon as I get there or something like that.
Well, this was okay. I didn't write the question well enough. So like if you're doing a webinar from home and you're doing it on showing how to use a website or showing how to use a particular piece of cloud software, how, what do you think the practice plan should be for that?
Yeah, a week is too little, I think.
I actually had a different interpretation for this. I thought it was that your presentation was like stored in the cloud.
That's what I thought.
And you had to make sure it was there.
When you're teaching or presenting on something, so you're teaching about cybersecurity, and you're showing Amazon Web Services backend. When you prep,
got it.
Prepping the week before.
I think I think you should prep the week before. I think you should prep the day before. I think you should run through it the day of just to make sure.
I mean, I would be like a month. I don't know. I'm extreme.
Okay. Okay. So you say a month. Yes, you should practice more. You should practice earlier than that. But the reason why this one's the lie
Okay.
Yay, we got it.
Because practicing the week before is not sufficient. If you don't check your settings 24 hours beforehand, you're going to get bit.
Yeah.
So, for example, a lot of tech trainers will do their prep a couple weeks out, and then they'll run through their material like the week before, and that's fine. But they won't go in and double check that all of the settings haven't changed, that everything is set to default the way you need it to be, and that they didn't update the user interface, which happened to one of the trainers I was watching while I was Zoom producing. They changed the user interface 24 hours before. Now, this guy did not prep the week before. He would have caught it. Like, he would have caught certain things because they had changed some stuff a month ago, but like UI stuff that changed the night before, that would have been enough of a hurdle to get over. But there were other changes. They've been incrementally putting them out. You've got to prep a month out. You got to prep a week out, and you got to prep the day before. If you are not checking your settings, if you're doing cloud-based, you're begging for tech gremlins to come chew on your butt.
That sounds right. Works. That's like, Ann and I are like, I don't want to say we're chronic over preparers, but we are. So it's fine.
No, when it comes to technical training, it would be hard to over prepare.
Right. That's how I feel about everything.
Like, you need to just stop at a certain point and relax. But especially when you're doing streaming, or you're doing cloud software. Oh dear God. Yeah.
This makes so much, because I'm thinking about when we didn't have the cloud and you just used your laptop, and that was so much easier because you knew the version that you installed was the version.
And you used floppy disks.
In theory, not that you shouldn't prepare.
No. But here's the thing. Having been around, because I'm old in those times, I'm a Mac trainer who taught Windows. So I had a Mac laptop. So I couldn't bring my Mac laptop and teach from it. I would have to install something so that I was allowed to run Windows off my Mac, which you do not want to do in a live environment. It's just begging too much trouble. So I would be on their crappy old Dell or Gateway laptop, which I was teaching Outlook, and they hadn't set up service to connect to a web server for mail. So we had no way of sending mail in the Outlook class.
You didn't bring your owl?
This was a long time ago. I did not have my stuff set up. I was literally like, they're like, well, just use the internet. I'm like,
what?
That's not how this works. This was like 20 years ago. But yeah. Well, no, my favorite is having a Windows box and a Mac side by side with a switch box in the middle, and having to click back and forth between the two screens because you're teaching a software that is different, and you're teaching to a room full of mixed people, which is the worst training environment ever. And I'm like, okay, Mac users, click. Okay, you're going to open up this menu and go to here. Windows users, click. You're going to do that menu instead. Like
that is confusing, but I think we still have that issue today, right? We have Mac and Windows users, and we've got Android and iPhone users.
Yeah, but you don't put them in the same class. Like, don't do that. Do not put them in the same class, because you are begging for them to be frustrated and your instructor to just want to die. So
they're like, I can't do this.
We're glad you're here.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, yes. So you do not need to be an extrovert to be a great speaker. A lot of the really great speakers I know consider themselves to be introverted. And honestly, extroverted speakers are still introverts, because once you've put out that energy, you hit the crash.
Yep.
That happens to all of us.
Yeah.
I'm more extroverted, and that happens to me because it's true. If you expend so much energy giving a talk, and then you answer as many questions as you can afterwards, and you stay after, do you know what I mean? And then all I want to do is go back to the hotel room or back to my apartment and just stare at a wall. And I actually know a speaker. He told me this once. He has a routine. He said, whenever I speak, I do the thing. Do you know what I mean? And then I come back to my hotel room and I order Domino's. Nice. And he was like, because Domino's is the same everywhere. Do you know? And I get the same exact thing, but it's just like the thing that I do.
And then I get have myself a routine down that way.
Yeah, he has like a routine. And I thought that's really smart.
Oh yeah. It's like a really, really intense, like doing a a panel and then 1 or 2 breakouts. I scheduled as soon as the breakout was over, I got in a cab and went down to my appointment for a float, and I just floated in a tank. Like I was like, that's it. I'm done.
Like well, they're not calling it deprivation tanks anymore. What are they called now?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, yeah, like but the float tanks, float spa.
Something. Yeah, they changed that.
Yeah,
they're like, we don't like this name.
Best
I'm like,
thing ever. Best thing ever. You just float for 60 minutes, have music if you want. That's it. Relax everything. Oh my God, it's the best. Okay.
So I just want to say, like, as the introvert in the room right now, that just talking to a person in the same room as me can feel as draining to me as being on stage and doing 2 breakout rooms. And I think that's one of the major differences.
Oh, yeah. Well, introverts, in my experience, need to learn different coping skills and different stage skills.
Yeah.
But the idea that introverts aren't good speakers is just ridiculous.
Right. Because I mean, for me, like, if I get on stage, when I've gotten on stage in front of hundreds of people, the drain is similar to when I'm talking to 3 people in a group and trying to navigate that I'm with 3 other people and everyone's taking turns talking and I wanted to run away and scream.
Can we bring up number 3 for me?
Yeah.
All right. So this one I want to hit for a second because I used to say you have to prep without your slide deck no matter what, and plan on going without it. And then somebody very smartly took me aside and said, hey, by the way, I'm neurodivergent. I need the structure of it. And I went, thank you. So now what I say is you really want to prep without it. And you want to be able to step off of it if you can. But obviously you should prep whatever tools. To be honest, if they're there reading your deck and you don't need to be there, then why are you there? And if you're reading your deck at them, why didn't you make a damn video?
Right. Or like for people who are neurodivergent, maybe their approach could be, I keep a hard copy of my deck with me just so I can look at it. Like, even though it's just normal size paper, at least I have it for when I'm presenting.
Yeah. And I will do one more, which is people use their slide decks as handouts. Please stop doing that. Please, because they're the ugliest, nastiest handouts and people print them and they look crappy and then nobody uses them. Take the time to invest in making a really nice handout or get somebody on Fiverr to go into InDesign and make it for you. Make a really nice handout. Do not give it to them before you talk. Give it to them after you are done. And then they take away something that looks slick and professional and has your contact info on it. It is better than a business card. So there.
Nice.
Got it.
Yeah, I love that. Also, Canva has really great PDF. Like, and they're free. Like, most of them are free. So, and also when you print out your slide deck, you are wasting so much paper. Like, why? We love trees, don't we? Don't we love trees? Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Yeah.
No, but it also, it's like, I try to make my slides as minimal as possible. And especially because I have a theory that, like, what is it, that quote? I think it's like Winston Churchill quote where it's like, if you want me to give an hour-long talk, I can do it right now. If you want me to talk for 10 minutes, I need a day. If you want me to do a 3-minute talk, I need like 3 days to prepare.
Bingo.
Because it's the conciseness where it's like, are you getting your message across is in a concise way as possible?
Yep.
And like, if your slide decks are filled with stuff, I mean, it might be like you have to show a graph or something, but if you're reading from them, then you're actually not really giving people information concisely. Right. Because I've definitely been to presentations like that where I'm not actually listening to the speaker. I'm just furiously copying down the slide deck.
Exactly. That's why when my clients are doing keynotes, if it's a 90-minute keynote, they have to prep a 90-minute, a 60-minute, and a 30-minute version. And we practice all 3 because you have to be able to, in the moment, adapt. Like all of a sudden something happens and you have less time.
Right. They started late. Someone ran over. So and all of or someone else got added to the slate, and all of a sudden you thought
something happens. The mic, they're having issues. All of a sudden, like all of these things happen, and you have to be able to modularize your content and just Lego transform it, like in the moment. That's required. That's what makes
But that's your like space of expertise.
That
The
is my
rest of
thing.
us are not made to know that. So that's
No, but
people, you
that's
should
why you
hire
work with
Kirsten.
me, though. See,
Yeah.
that's why you work with me, because I can
That's
help you
why
do
you
that.
should come to the OwnerSHIP Summit.
And that's why you should
folks.
come to the OwnerSHIP Summit.
Yes, I was just going for the
Yes.
banner for
Yes.
that.
That is why all of us, and having the entire panel, you will have feedback from some, here, I will gesture this way now, amazing women who know their stuff and have stories and have information. And it will be so damn valuable, so worth it. Absolutely come to our SHIP Summit. It's going to be a wild ride. Savvy
It's so
ownership.
exciting. Well, with that, that's our 2 truths and a lie for today. We
Yes.
hope you had fun. We hope you had like a smidgen of the amount of fun that we clearly had. Because that was a blast. Thank you, Anne and Kirsten, for being with us today. And we would love to see you at the Savvy OwnerSHIP Summit coming up October 7th. And for
Yes.
anyone who's wondering more about the ship, you can check out our website at shehasinfinitepotential.com, which is conveniently located right down there. And we have more wonderful events coming up every single Friday, and we can't wait to see you there. So thank you for stopping by, and we hope that you have a ship shape day.